It's interesting you talk about distraction, whereas I think Minder's take so far is actually it's being aware of the distractions and actually embracing them a little bit and not trying to push them away so much. It's like they're here, okay, I'm aware of them, I can deal with that one. I'll just work with that a little bit. And I know some of the experience I haven't had much, the limited is always about trying to clear your mind. That's
not
rubbish.
being pulled off course.
Yeah.
Because when I said that, at that time the door opened and everyone looked over there.
Yeah.
So that was like, oh, it's perfectly solved.
Yeah.
But I carried on with what I was saying. I managed to not lose track.
Yeah, but I think it's just, that's also being mindful. It's okay if that distraction's there, to be aware of it and just say that's there and then I can work and come back again.
Thank you, that's wonderful. Does anybody else have any other things they would like to share that, what their idea of mindfulness was before they started the course and sort of where you're at with it now? Or maybe something you've learned since you've been here?
So just accepting everything as it is, as right here, this moment, how it is, and it's no matter how you like it or you dislike it, just accept it as with many equanimity, just to see things as they are.
I'm so glad you brought that word equanimity up. I'm just going to bookmark that for later. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so I'd like to welcome Hannah to the class today. Hannah, I know we had a little chat just before you came in about your experience with a little bit of it, but do you want to share why you came?
Why I'm here?
Yeah.
I think similar to what you said, just looking at things from another perspective. I've got a very curious mind, so I like to kind of dissect everything and just see different points of view about everything and learn. So yeah, that's why I'm here.
Beautiful. I love that word, curiosity. It's such a good word, isn't it? Thank you. And Deep.
I met today accepting that to Ajmal and she told me about the workshop and I thought, okay, let's try something. So I just came in the open mind, anything I can try.
Wonderful. And that's what they always say in meditation courses, mindfulness courses, is open mind, beginner's mind, remembering when we were children and the openness. And put up your hand if you work with children. I know that it does. Yeah, and I spent so much of my life working with children. And the reason I love to work with children so much, I'm not as much right now, and I'm missing it because it's fresh. Because they meet every day with that real fresh outlook, don't they? And they're not thinking about what happened with their friend yesterday, because they're too busy thinking about what's happening with their friend right now. Whatever's happening with their friend right now doesn't matter, because in 5 minutes later they're going to forget about that and they're just going to be moving on to the next thing. And I think as adults, to me, mindfulness is almost kind of unpacking some of that. It's not like we're moving backwards in time, but potentially connecting with that mind of the child, that mind of maybe some things that you remember from that excitement, that curiosity that you had. So welcome to day 3 or week 3 of the Introduction to Mindfulness. And of course I have some nice little pictures for you I've created for the class. This is a wonderful part of the process that I've enjoyed when I was doing a lot of work with children. I developed this style of drawing and creating and working this into illustrations with kids. But I actually like it. I was thinking today as I was creating this week's, what I like about it is it brings me back into that childlike place when I do these drawings. So I hope that it helps to bring you into that place a little bit. So without further ado, Bruce, drum roll please. Can we do a drum roll? All right, what are we doing this week, Bruce? It is the mindfulness of emotions. Now I say it like mindfulness of emotions because, wow, this is when I will have to say this is my 3rd week in developing this course, and I will definitely say there's been such a build to get to here. So we did mindfulness of thoughts last week, mindfulness of emotions. What do you think the difference is between mindfulness of thoughts and mindfulness of emotions? Sounds like the same. Ina?
I think emotions call it, we feel something first and then we start thinking. The
Okay.
thoughts come from the emotions.
All right.
So it's like more deeper than the thoughts.
More deeper than the thought.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful way of thinking about it. Thank you for that.
So I mean, for me, like mindfulness of thoughts is like sort of Lego. You know, it's dealing with objects
Mm.
and blocks of chunks of information or whatever. Whereas emotions is more like dealing with a liquid that you don't know really what's going to happen. It's not a quantifiable thing, is it? It's like could change.
I love that you said that. Let's go to the next slide, Bruce. Here we go. We carry a lot of things. Hold on to a lot of things. And I think he's looking quite happy as he's holding on. But then something happens and things start to slip. And we kind of lose that grasp. And this is, we hold. I like to think of emotions as something, a lot of time we hold them. Sort of hold on a lot of the time. And I believe that in the mindfulness of emotions is where we get to really meet that place of holding and start to explore it, to get curious with it, to observe the emotions that are coming up. And as Oz said, just starting to let them flow. So we'll just go into the next one. Now before we go though, for those of you who are new this week, I've had an ongoing kind of approach. The people that were here in the last couple are gonna know, but I'm gonna catch you up soon. So here we go, we've got the water falling and then it's gonna come right into the next slide. All right, so we remember her in the garden, right? And here she is, and that water flowed all the way down the mountain. And here she is in the garden, but I don't think she's too upset about it. This is what I liked about her. It's like, she's like, oh no, but this plant that she's been growing is trying to run away, but she's kind of smiling about it. She's loving that feeling and that sensation of flow. And submerged, So she gets her snorkel and her mask. She just breathes, breathes into the feeling. It's happening. It's okay. Oopsie. It's okay. We've got this, she says. Breathe. Because this little guy's not so sure, The plant's submerged, the roots are getting wet, they're starting to get a little bit limp, And then we have the curious friend. All right, yes, you may press now. Since he's interested in knowing, wow, where did all this mud come from, Soft, fresh earth. When we let things flow, all this stuff, comes up. We fertilize. We give life to ourselves through that exploration, that mindful exploration of our feelings. So he's curious, where did all this mud come from? And she says, you'll never guess, dear. So he hasn't seen the spill. He hasn't witnessed it, but he gets to see. And I think they're sharing a little joke, the two of them. Release. So we're going to see the whole frame. I'm going to walk you through the last couple of weeks just a quick catch up. So we have, oopsies, okay, that's from what we've just done. And then we go to, so this is my segue in this course, Mindfulness Beginners, just using the metaphor of the garden, a beginner's guide to gardening. So we start with the spring, we're planting the seeds of awareness. We're going to talk about the wings of awareness later on again today. Things taking root, our practices taking root. We begin to start noticing things differently, as Bruce said, just observing instead of trying to change. And then last week, we got into the mind, the mind taking over. We try to do too much. We overthink things. When we overthink things, you think about in a garden, when you overwater when you over fertilize,